I've arrived and I'm in the ambulance, and this is the beginning of a like 4.5 day, 4 night trip with my buddy Nate. He's gonna meet me tomorrow, and we're gonna take off on this trip that he has routed out, routed, drawn out. Anyways, something like that that he's set up. Um, he's put together a route that's going to go all the way to Moab. I'm not going to be able to go all the way to Moab just because I can't take that much time off of work, and I need to be back. Tuesday is going to be actually Halloween, so I need to be back to kind of celebrate and play with the family on that one. But I'm going to try and go as far as I can in those 4 days and just enjoy being a part of that trip. So he kind of planned a route that goes mostly back roads. There's going to be some scenic highways and stuff like that, just to kind of help cover ground and keep things going. But I'm hoping that most of the back roads are ambulance worthy. I'm a little concerned, if I'm honest. Tires aren't great. The flex isn't great. Gets terrible fuel economy. But I'm hoping it's all going to be okay. We kind of looked everything over. I think he said that the worst is like a 3 out of 10, which is pretty mild, honestly. So we're going to see how it goes. So I've got the ambulance. The reason why I'm out here early and going to meet him tomorrow is because I've come to a family property. This is a property that has been in my family for probably close to 20 years, maybe even longer than that. Yeah. Man, I'm getting old. Probably close to 30 years, I'm going to guess. Maybe even longer than that. I don't know. But I helped build this cabin. I call it a cabin. My wife has informed me that it is not a cabin, it's a shack. But I helped build this building. I helped collect a lot of the rocks that are here around the fire pit. Kind of this patio area that my mom made. I used to hate grabbing these rocks, but I love it now because she put together a really nice setup here. Fire pit, all that stuff. So spent a lot of time out here as a kid, and it's been definitely over a year since I've been out here, maybe even close to 2 years since I've been out here. But when I saw Nate's route went right by this, I thought, well, there's my opportunity. I'm going to grab one more night. He wasn't able to leave until tomorrow, but I was able to leave tonight, and thought I'm going to spend the night here, just see kind of what progress my mom has done out here as far as the property, kind of the work that's been put in that she's been telling me about, and just enjoy some nice solitude real quick before I hop on the road with them and carry on down. So I will bring you along on as much of that as I can, and just kind of show you where we're going, what we're doing, the travel plan, any issues we run into, which I hope are none, all the fun that we have, all that stuff. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and get a fire started, I think. And then while that's starting to burn and kind of make some coals for dinner, I am going to work on organizing the ambulance. I did pretty good up until this afternoon. And this afternoon, I didn't get away from work as quick as I wanted to. And so it was a mad dash to throw everything in there that I needed. I hope I got everything, but I'd like to organize it a little bit and get that kind of set up. So that's where I'm going to go right now. I was kind of banking on my mom might have some firewood out here already, so I didn't bring any. I didn't gather any. Sorry, Mom, if I'm using your firewood. You won't know until you come back out, which probably won't be until next year, so maybe you'll have forgotten by then that all this was here. Alright, I'm feeling a lot better about how things are looking in there, so kind of have stuff put in its place. As I was going through it, I don't think I forgot anything. At least I'm really hoping I didn't forget anything. If I'm honest, my biggest concern is just that the ambulance makes it, that I don't have any issues with it. I feel like it's pretty sound, but it's just not. The more I've driven it, the more I've realized it's not like an off-road vehicle that I'm used to. It's big, it's long, it's got smaller tires. yeah, just a lot of things in there. And I usually get anxiety about stuff anyway, so I think my anxiety is just kind of fueling my worry and my concern right now too. But just trying not to think about it. So far, so good. I did my due diligence. I made several fixes, which I'll tell you about as I kind of show you some of the changes that I've made in the interior too. And it's going to be fine, right? It's going to be fine. I'm hungry, so I think I'm going to kind of turn my attention to that. And I tried something new, which I've always wanted to try, but I've never done. I tried to cook part of my meal on the engine. So I'm going to pull that and see how that worked out here. So I had to get under the doghouse anyways. This has a manual throttle cable on it. Probably so that if this ambulance was parked up somewhere and they had all the lights going and everything running, they could kind of kick the idle up to really work. It's got an aftermarket alternator on it, which puts out a kind of a heavier charge than a standard one does. So I was fixing that, or replacing that, I guess I should say. It didn't work when I got it, just really stiff, kind of had some issues. So I was replacing that, so I was under the doghouse anyways, and I thought, I wonder what would happen if I wrapped up a potato. Get through here. If I wrapped up a potato with some butter and salt and pepper and stuff and stuck it on top of that engine, if this would just act like an oven, which it should. Those headers get hot, hot, hot. In fact, I saw them red hot at one point, which there again, I'm hoping is okay. Yeah, it gets hot, hot. And I tried to place it so that hopefully I could just kind of slide this back and access it. Let me set you up here and see if I can do that. There it is right there. Ooh, it's plenty warm in here. I don't know if it got warm enough though. Ooh, butter's dripping. That doesn't feel quite soft enough though, so, but it's definitely warm where it was. I think probably if I had about another half hour or 40 minutes, it would have been just right. While I'm in here, I'm just going to kind of look over everything again. I noticed there was kind of a rattle which was bugging me. And make sure I don't have any issues, and then I'll close that up and call it good for the trip. Everything looks good, so I'm going to button this up. I'll probably set this potato on some coals, and yeah, we'll call it lunch here in probably another half hour or so. Not lunch, dinner. We'll call it dinner here in probably another half hour or so. Got some chicken here. This is from a whole roasted chicken from our local grocery store, and I'm just gonna put it in a little bit of tin foil too, because it needs to get warmed up. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm gonna hope it's okay. See if I can get that warmed up. Also, that should give me a couple layers underneath it. I'm just going to wrap up those ends nice and good. Lay that down in there also. Well, I thought I had pushed record, and I hadn't. I threw a hoodie on, but it was really too small for me. And at first I was like, man, this thing shrunk, and then I realized it was my wife's hoodie. I just grabbed it out of the closet, and apparently I got hung up with my stuff when it was actually hers. So I'm happy. Oh, I'm happy I brought multiple hoodies for that reason. That small little hoodie would have been a little uncomfortable for me to be trying to wear all weekend. I don't know if this will show up very good or not, but we've got quite a pretty sunset going on. Look at that. Oh yeah, you can see it pretty good. Got some nice colors. The sun's been down for a minute, but that just must be catching kind of the bottom of those clouds. Really quite pretty. Yep, really nice. I've been watching the weather, because one thing I'm worried about is muddy roads. Even though I've got four-wheel drive, I know that it won't be great on muddy roads, just because the tires don't have a lot of traction, tread. They're not very aggressive. I had to get what I would get. I would have wanted more of like an all-terrain or something like that, but anyways, I've been watching the weather, and there's a few chances of rain, but it doesn't look like anything heavy is supposed to be coming in. I hope that's the case. I hope it stays true to that, and that we just have a beautiful, beautiful, enjoyable weekend. So, but really pretty up here. I just had forgotten how nice it is up here. So, pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. Ugh. Pulled the chicken out, set it off to the side because it just needed to warm up. It didn't need to cook. Chuck a couple more pieces of wood on over here. Alright. Neighbors are sure awful noisy. Got a generator running, trucks running around, people hollering and yelling. Not quite the seclusion I was looking for, but hopefully they just stay over there. Don't come to say hi, because I'm not trying to be unfriendly. I just want some peace and quiet. I just want to be left alone tonight. So anyways, let's open this up, see what it looks like. Hopefully you can still see. This is that chicken. Feels like it's good and warm. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay. Oof. Ha. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Beauty. I just put a bunch of ash on my plate. Oh, that's hot. Okay. Oh, it's perfect though. I don't know if you can see that very well, but that looks absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and split it open here. Like that. And we're gonna kind of mash it up a little bit. Get some butter on it, so that that butter gets melted down into that potato goodness. And some salt and pepper. Whoa! Okay, we got some salt on there, all right. Sheesh. Hopefully that doesn't make it too salty. Dumping that on accident. Dump the chicken out on here. Give Toner a bite. You can have that one too, the one on the table. Look at that. Take you over here by the fire, maybe you can see better. Huh? Look at that. Lovely. I'm gonna sit back, enjoy a drink, enjoy a bite to eat, enjoy the fire, enjoy the evening. Okay, sorry about how dark it is. I was just getting ready to call it a night tonight, but I figured I'd kind of show you a few of the changes that I've made on the ambulance since you last saw it. At least I'm going to try to remember everything that I did. I didn't bore you with a lot of the details, just because I don't know that that's what all you're interested in, as far as the repairs and things like that. And it was just little bits and pieces here and there as I had a minute or two. So anyways, starting at the front here, I've got this spotlight, that police style spotlight on the front. I got that one working. This one here is completely taken out, and basically what I did is I made one good one out of the two of them. They were both in pretty rough shape, so I had to kind of take them both apart, make one good one. My brother-in-law has one that he says I can have. I'm hoping maybe I can modify it to fit so that I've got two again to keep that original look. So so I fixed that. I already told you about the manual throttle cable that I replaced. Got that working. So moving back, I set up a second battery here. I don't know that you're going to be able to see that real well in a battery box. I disconnected the battery that was underneath of the ambulance and reran a wire so that I can just set one here. That way I don't have to crawl underneath the ambulance every time I want to put one in and pull it out. And the main reason why I did that is because I'm using, this is one of the batteries that's from our fifth wheel camper. I snagged it out of there and just threw it in here real quick for this trip. So yeah, so I'm set up with a second battery now, which is really cool. I ran some tests with a multimeter, and what I discovered is that when the ambulance is running, it charges both batteries. It does look like it puts a little bit more of a charge into the main battery. So like if you're cruising along, you might be getting almost 14 volts in the main battery, and then like 13 point something in the secondary battery, depending on which way you have it switched. But when it's running, charges both batteries. The cool thing is when you switch from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 1, whichever battery you have selected is the only battery that the system draws from, which is really neat. So like right now, I'm on number 2, and I can have my lights on, all that good stuff, and I'm only pulling from number 2. In the morning, if the battery's dead, I can switch to number 1, and that battery's still going to have a full charge to start from. So I'm excited about that. This is going to be the first trip that I actually run that system on, and I'm really curious to see how it goes. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So along with that, I installed these little 12 volt ports. So I've got this one, it's got a USB here and then USB-C up here for a quick charge, and then a 12 volt socket there. And then I went ahead and stuck one down there as well, just to have another spot where I've got some ports to charge stuff. I wasn't sure where I was going to put my water, and this runs off a 12 volt here for the pump, so I figured whether I've got it here I can plug in there, over there I can plug in there, or if I've got some other accessory or something like that that I just want to plug in quick and kind of have over there, I've got another place to charge from. So I'm excited about that. While I'm pointing out things, you'll probably notice this is different. This was the oxygen tank cabinet, and I cut it off short. I was actually going to remove the whole thing, but then I realized that this actually supports this here. There's a heater core and stuff back here. I don't think it's a whole lot of weight, but I noticed that this cabinet actually supports this here, so I thought it'd be good to have that. And while I was looking, I thought, well, you know what? That's kind of cool anyways with the clear door. So I put a bottom on it. That's where I can put my jackery up in there. If I'm not running the 12 volt system, I have that, and then I've got this platform down here that I can plug stuff in. Like I've got my phone here charging through the side. I just put a little lip there so you can access stuff through the side, drop it up in there real quick. And so that opening there was where they had, you could reach into the side and turn on the tank and on and off kind of a deal, just FYI. That's why that opening is there, but kind of convenient to be able to plug in there, stick it in there, and charge and run what you need to. And the clear front on it allows me to see the percentages and stuff on the jackery as well, to kind of see where it's sitting. So I'm pretty happy with that. That also opened up this space right here, which it was hard to get to that door. You probably remember me complaining about that. It was just hard to get in and out. And the really cool thing is from the driver's seat, I can actually see back and see out those windows now. That was another thing I complained about, was the visibility when turning. I can actually see out through there. So quite a few bonuses for having that gone. I think in the future I'm going to get some sort of organizing rack or something like that to put there. I was like just figuring out where to put like my GoPro stuff, flashlights, things that I need to grab real quick. That'd be a really convenient spot to put some of that stuff. So moving on back here, I don't know that I've done much differently other than I actually am utilizing the cubbies now. You can see I've got clothes and food and a few things like that. It's still not like completely organized if I was spending a lot of time in here or a longer trip. And so I'm excited to try that out, kind of having things a little more organized. The final thing that I changed is the bed. I was trying to figure out on this trip, it's just going to be me, well, me and Toner, but it's just going to be me using this bed. And I thought, I don't need that full-size bed. We're going to be going down bumpy roads, so I'm going to want to be able to put the bed away each day versus leaving it out and worrying about braces falling out and stuff breaking. But then it'd just be nice to not have to deal with setting up and putting the bed away. Not to mention it takes up a lot of space. Like that, when that bed's out, it just fills the whole back end back here and just kind of kills a lot of space. So I was trying to figure out how to make this work with just utilizing the existing cushions, but it was too skinny with just the bench. Like for me to lay on the bench, it was just too skinny. You may have noticed, I mean, it's probably like you wouldn't notice on camera, but I'm not that skinny of a guy. Like I'm a pretty big dude. And so I need some space to sleep. So the bench wasn't quite wide enough, but I didn't want to deal with the whole wide bed. And so I was trying to figure out, well, how can I use that slide system and slide it out and still have a full mattress? And what I realized is, do you notice anything missing? Right, the backrest. I was sitting in here trying to figure out what to do, and I realized that backrest fits beautifully right there. There's a little bit of a height difference, but when you're laying on it, you don't really notice. And most of my body's on this side of the bench anyways. That's just kind of, you know, off to the side of the bed. So I was basically able to slide this out just like those slide beds on the slats are intended to do, to slide out to extend it. But instead of folding the top part over and all that stuff, I just slid it out a little bit and then just laid this backrest right there in that gap, pushed it together, and it's perfect. And the beauty of it too is that this edge here is pretty well supported. Like I can sit out here on the edge and it's plenty solid, just by the nature of this bed design, that slat bed design. So I'm really thrilled about that. I'm really excited about that and how that's working. And you can just see how much space that opens up just having the bed off to the side and all the floor space here. We're going to see how comfortable it is. I'm not sure about that yet, as far as comfort level, the vinyl, the backrest being just a little bit thinner than the actual bench pad, a few things like that. We're going to find out on this trip, but I laid on it the other day. I think it's going to work just fine, so I'm thrilled about that. But anyways, I think that's about it as far as changes. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know, but I'm going to call it a night. I'm ready to pack it in and take a snooze, and so I'll check in with you in the morning. Well, it was cold this morning. It definitely got chilly last night, and I think the direction we're going is just going to get colder. But the weather showed that the temperature in general was just taking a drop this week. So I laid in bed for a while. Toner got me up early this morning and said she needed to go out, but I think she was just excited to be here. She's like a little kid when it comes to camping. That first night, she's up early in the morning like, let's go explore, let's go check stuff out. Anyways, we got back in bed and I tried to snuggle and stay cozy as long as I could, but she was pretty anxious. I was waiting for the sun to come up, but it never came up. So I finally decided I'm gonna get up, go for a walk, see if I can find the sun. And there it is. I hiked up on the hill back behind the property here and found it. We're still in the shade down on that side, but the view, yeah, I'll take that view all day long. Just beautiful. So I'm pretty sure that PVC pipe right over there on the ridge is the south border, or the south corner of the property. So I'm probably gonna hike over there and touch that real quick. I haven't seen the north one yet. I know it's up on here somewhere. It's been a while though since I've looked or hiked or done any of that over here. But like I said, I'm probably gonna go over, touch that, and then head down, see if I can find some breakfast, get my belly nourished, and probably it'll be about time to head down to the main road to meet up with Nate and his wife, so that we can start caravanning on our way. But maybe I'll just stand here for a minute still. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, here I am. I guess this would be the southeast corner. Yeah, the southeast corner of the property. If I remember right, the northeast corner is supposed to be kind of in that saddle right there. I never saw it when I was walking through, so that pole just might be missing and gone, but that's kind of what I'm remembering. I was gonna show you where the cabin and stuff is, but you can't see it. Just a bunch of trees. But that was kind of the point. Even from the road, you can't really see it unless you get past it and kind of look up in. My parents picked a really good spot to stick that little cabin or shack, according to my wife. Really nice and protected in there, and kind of camouflaged. You got some privacy in there, so pretty cool. Pretty nice valley up in here, that's for sure. Okay, I'm gonna go see if I can find some breakfast and probably some water to drink because my mouth is pretty dry, and start kind of pulling stuff together. Get ready to meet up with Nate and Jillian. Oh, all right, I lied. Just over here, there's another little kind of high spot. So I think I'm gonna get that view again. So I'm gonna take one more hit on that view and then go do all the things I said I was gonna do. Okay, so from right here, you could barely see the roof. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to point it out. It's somewhere in this area. I'll try and zoom in on it and put a little circle on it or something. But you can barely see the roof there. So I just caught a glimpse of it through the trees as I was kind of moving down. Trail right down through here, or what you'd call a game trail, pushing through these trees. Those deer are on a migration run right now. Happens every year this time of year. You can see it kind of up through there. Anyways, happens every year this time of year, and they head south as the weather cools down. And like I said, it really turned this week, so they're probably going to be pushing hard now to get down to lower country. And it has created a kind of scary situation driving home every night. Again, happens every year, so we're used to it. But we live right in the middle of one of those migration paths. And probably on my trip home, it's about 10 miles from door to door, from Quality Printing out to the house. And I bet there's a deer per mile dead on the side of the road, or in the middle of the road. It's an absolute, like, I don't know, horror scene. Just blood and guts and all sorts of junk spread across the road where these deer have been hit in the middle of the night by semis and vehicles and stuff like that. But they're moving pretty heavy, and that trail right there is a evidence of that. We're coming up on it now, up on the back side of it. Happy I found my way back. I kind of made a big loop and was starting to wonder if I was too far south or not, but there it is. Home sweet home. I remember a lot of things with building this, but one of the things that I remember is having to tie off to screw the metal down. It's a pretty steep pitch on the roof there. We'd throw a rope over on the other side, tie it off to a tree, or my dad would hold it, or brother, or something like that, so that we could sit up on that peak, which was really quite sharp to sit on. Didn't feel very comfortable. But if we had to get down further on the other side to put in screws or something like that, then tie yourself on a rope and do it that way. So, but they've gotten siding on. My mom and her husband have been working on that. They've gotten siding on and some windows put in, and looks really good. I think it's really neat what they've done with it. I need to get out here more often and spend some time here and check this out. I'd show you inside, but I don't remember the combination. I fiddled with it last night. I couldn't figure it out. I don't remember what the combination was on it, so can't show you on the inside. But there was an old camp trailer that they had that they kind of gutted out, cabinets and counters and sinks and the fridge and stove that they've been setting up inside, just like a little homestead. So pretty neat property out here. It feels good to be back out here. Kind of remember a lot of those fond memories I've had of Dutch oven potatoes down here on that little cement slab, just stuff like that. It's got a lot of great memories tied to this place. That's frost up on the top of that, so it got down to freezing at least early this morning. Got pretty chilly, and from what I could tell, I think we're just climbing elevation the further we go. Colder and colder. Well, on the menu this morning is cottage cheese, and fruit. It's one of the staples that I have. Kind of wishing maybe I would have brought some warm things for breakfast versus cold things, but this will be okay. One thing I did realize is I forgot a table. I didn't realize it until now because I've had this table to work on, which has had many a sandwich and hamburger assembled on it over the years. But yeah, I just didn't even think about bringing, well, I thought about bringing a table. I completely forgot about a table until now. So that could be a bit of an issue for some of the future campsites we might be going to. I'll have to figure that out. One of the good news is the ambulance is just the right height. That's about waist height. So it's about table height. So if I need to just work on the inside of it, I can. But for cooking and stuff like that, kind of fill the vehicle with cooking smell. So not ideal. Not to mention bugs and stuff getting in if I've got to have lights on, but we'll figure it out.
Frequency mode.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the radio. Honestly, I bet they probably haven't left quite yet. He was planning to leave at about 9 o'clock, and it's pretty much 9 o'clock. But just in case, he said they might get off a little bit early or something. I'm gonna go ahead and kick this on. And do I have a way to charge this? I don't remember. Anyways, that way if they start calling me, I'll be able to hear and can hustle down to the road. One of the challenges I had to figure out was how to haul fuel. Like I mentioned, this does not get very good fuel economy. In fact, the best I've clocked it at has been 9 miles a gallon. I have fixed a couple of things since then. There's a vacuum leak, the carburetor was a little out of whack, new tires. Trying to think of what else, but so I think it's doing better than it was, but still not great. Regardless, still not great. So I needed to figure out how I could carry some spare fuel. I don't have any roof rack or any way to put it on the outside. I thought about a bumper rack, but then that sticks out to like here, and I already don't have a great departure angle depending on what we get into. Like back there coming into this driveway would have scraped. So I had to carry it inside, and I looked up a few YouTube videos, found a guy that does it often, and he wrapped it in plastic and then hung the plastic out the back door so that if the gases did expand, it basically pushed them out the back versus into the vehicle. So I did wrap my fuel can with some garbage sacks and did that same thing. I couldn't quite get the end all the way out, but it actually did pretty good. When I actually got here, I smelled a little bit, not much, just a little bit. I think because of the elevation gain, the gas has just expanded and had to release somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I brought a tarp. I'm going to try and take the tarp and encase the gas can with the tarp and then stick the back end of the tarp just out here, so that I can shut it in the door and see if that makes a little bit of a makes it a little bit better for today driving. But with that, if any of you have experience hauling fuel inside the vehicle, I know it's not recommended, but with this setup I don't really have a choice. Let me know. Let me know what you do to keep the fuel smell from getting into the vehicle and making it unbearable to drive. Okay, we'll see how that works. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. Okay, I think we're ready to go. I copy.
Alright, running a little behind schedule, but we're maybe a couple minutes from you.
Copy that. We'll see you in a few.